Hi guys, it is the Bipolar Hot Mess again. It's Christy. So we are now in the 7th video of the DBT series, and it's based off of, DBT Made Simple. Last time we went over a bunch of different DBT exercises. I guess they are DBT exercises, but more specifically mindfulness exercises. And the ones that we went over were some deep breathing ones, focusing on, the counting. One, you had an object in your hand and you were to focus on how the object felt in your hand. And then the other one was to observe the sounds, like the background noise, and focus on that. So this time, I'm going to give you another exercise that you can work on, and I'm going to discuss. There's usually a lot of people have a difficult time with these exercises. Not so much that the exercises are too difficult for them or they can't do them, but because they don't have the patience. It's such a long process learning DBT and how to get your mind in mindfulness and to be able to free your mind and be able to focus on only one thing at a time. So a lot of people get frustrated at first and say they can't do it or they're not able to do it, and they just write it off. So I'm going to go over a few of the most common reasons that people give for why they aren't able to do DBT, and discuss those a little bit with you. Like I always do, this is my not a doctor disclaimer, so I'm not a doctor or a PDAC therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, nothing like that. I don't have a license to practice anything, so this is all information that I've gotten from just reading this book, the book DBT Made Simple, and so I'm just kind of just giving you guys the information for you guys to do with if you guys want to try it based on what I've gathered from it, or if you want to buy the book, it's on my website, www.bipolarhotmess.com. I have a page for the DBT. It has the book on it, and it has all the videos and the worksheets, and if you click on the book, click picture of the book, it'll take you to Amazon where you can buy it. So do not go off any treatment plan that your doctor has you on or anything like that, because I'm not licensed to practice medicine. So I'm just giving you a little recap of what they talk about in the book here. So let's get started. Few of the reasons that people usually give for why the mindfulness exercises don't work. One is that a lot of people say that it makes them more anxious. If you have anxiety, they tend to think that that the exercises, instead of helping them relax like they're intended to do, make them more anxious. And I mean, it's understandable. There's a variety of reasons why they might make you more anxious. One is, let's face it, most of the time we're all over the place and we're not focusing in on ourselves because either A, we don't want to, because we're afraid of what we might find, or we know what we're going to find and we don't like it. So it's common to kind of be anxious about having to focus in on one thing, and then part of mindfulness is acceptance. So when you focus in on it, then you have to accept that it's there, and if you don't like what you're going to find, there is you might get anxious about that. But it's very common. A lot of people feel like that. But mindfulness is such a valuable tool that can help with a lot of your other problems, that maybe that first step for you or for a person who thinks that it makes them more anxious, that first step is the acceptance of the fear of what they might find or what they don't like, and being able to accept that might be the first step, and then after accepting that, then moving forward to what the original goal had set out to be. Or maybe you're doing a breathing exercise, and while you're doing it, your mind is wandering off to thoughts of like, am I doing the breathing right? Why don't are my breaths, am I doing them deep enough? Are they not, or are they too deep? Or, when you start getting anxious over, the things like that, that's very common too. The solution, instead of doing a breathing exercise, do one of the other exercises, like where you're focusing on either the object in your hand or the background sounds. You don't have to do a breathing exercise to practice mindfulness. So if the breathing exercises are causing anxiety, try a different exercise. And then maybe after you've been practicing the other exercises and you're able to focus a little bit better, then you can try the breathing exercises again. But don't give up on mindfulness just because the one exercise didn't work. And even if it doesn't work at the first time you try it, it probably won't. It takes so many times of practice. I mean, I don't think anyone will masters mindfulness on the first try. So do not be discouraged. It does take a lot of practice, but you have to be dedicated to it. So that's the other thing, is you have to want to be able to, you have to want to dedicate the time to it and give it an actual shot. Don't just throw it away right away because it's not working, because these are things that are like habits. They take time to form, and it takes time to learn, and you're trying to retrain your mind. And after how many years of thinking a certain way, you can't just overnight totally completely rechange it, and any type of therapy, it takes time. So then there's the infamous, I just can't do it. And yes, we all say that at one time or another, I can't do it. Well, before you decide to, delete all of my DBT videos with me rambling, I mean, I know it's probably be exciting for you, but before you go ahead and do that, try to figure out what it is about the DBT or the exercise or the mindfulness that you can't do. I mean, are you having trouble concentrating? Are you constantly being interrupted? If you're having trouble concentrating, that's fine. Maybe try a different time of the day, or a different area. If you're trying it in the living room, maybe try doing it in the bedroom or in the dining room, somewhere. Just a different area. If you're constantly interrupted, what are those interruptions? Are they things that can be solved easily by, are they phone calls? Can you turn off the phone for during the time that you're going to be practicing it? Or are you do you have children? Are you being interrupted by other children? Maybe you'd have to practice the mindfulness after they go to sleep or are in bed, or are watching TV in the other room, or doing their homework or something like that. Are you under the impression that to be successful at mindfulness, that you won't have any thoughts or emotions that'll ever intrude while you're doing it? If that's the case, then that's the completely false impression, because it's going to happen. I mean, thoughts and emotions are always going to come popping through. The problem is, not the problem. The point is, you have to just, you note that. You note when they come through, what they are, accept it, and then continue back on with your exercise. Don't let it completely draw you astray. And that's, where a lot of people let that draw them away from where they originally were. But they are going to come through. You will have thoughts and emotions that will come through. It's not, that's just the way it is. And mindfulness is really hard, and it doesn't happen overnight. So, like I said, a lot of people give up if they don't see results on the first few tries. But we come from an era where everything is like fast, immediate gratification. We need instant results and, right away. And that is not the case with mindfulness. The reason we're practicing mindfulness is basically we want to slow things down. We're trying to do things one at a time, and not, as fast as possible, as many things as possible. So remember that when you're practicing mindfulness, that this isn't something that's going to be fast or an instant, because the end result is we're trying to slow ourselves down, like our minds down and stuff. So it just naturally takes time, and you just have to stick with it, and it's going to be frustrating at times, but the more you practice, the easier it gets. And like I said before, if one exercise doesn't work for you and isn't working, then try another one. You don't always have to do the same one. There's a bunch out there. I'm going to teach you another one towards the end of this video. So if everybody's different. So I don't have time is another good excuse. Just like we want instant results, I mean, we've become experts at jamming our schedules with so many things, and we're always trying to do 2 or 3 things at a time to get even more accomplished. Well, mindfulness, we don't have to always practice formal mindfulness, actually. Where, like, the exercises I taught you in the last video, where you sit down and, you focus on this. That's formal mindfulness. You can do informal mindfulness, and that can be done with any activity, anytime, anywhere. To get the full benefit of mindfulness, you have to, sometimes you have to practice formal mindfulness, but, those only take a few minutes here and there. But you can do informal mindfulness, and, it's still a form of mindfulness. You're still learning it. Informal mindfulness could be something like reading a book, and when you're reading the book, you're focused completely on the book and on the page that you're reading and the words on the page, and you're basically consumed with that page, with that book and with what's going on in that book. Your mind isn't wandering to everything else. Like, you're reading it, but at the same time you're like formulating your grocery list and things like that's not informal mindfulness. Informal mindfulness is focusing completely on that page of the book that you're reading. Or if you're watching a TV show, you're completely focused on that show and not, flipping through the channels, looking for the next show to watch, or thinking about, what's going on around you, or, helping, whatever. Like, you're just completely focused on that specific activity. And that's informal mindfulness. And so instead of multitasking, you're really focusing in on the one aspect. Again, if your mind wanders, though, to other thoughts or emotions, etc., that you take note of it, but you don't let yourself continue on to those places. You bring yourself right back to the TV show or to the book or whatever it is you're doing. But you can't let yourself get consumed, and then as soon as you get consumed and go astray, that's obviously when mindfulness ends. But those are informal mindfulness activities, and those can be done anytime. So when you say I don't have time, you're probably doing some of them and you just didn't even realize it, to be honest. The next one, I can't stay focused. Well, first off, you need to throw out all your expectations about this. Throw it out the window. Like, the goal is, your goal is to, your goal is to be able to think, be able to focus on one thing at a time and be able to, accept it. And relaxation is one of the end results, better concentration and being able to focus. But if you have an expectation that you're going to be able to master this in 1 week or 2 weeks or 1 month, those you have to throw any of those time expectations, you just throw them away, because those are they're just going to get in the way, because they're like looming over you while you're trying to focus. If you're trying to feel relaxed, but you're putting all this pressure on yourself, like, okay, I have to get rid, like, I have to get relaxed because I have to get this because I said that I was going to get this done in this amount of time. You're not going to get, it's not going to work that way. You have to be able to just let it happen as it happens. Just you'll start to feel the results when you stop putting a timetable on it. I mean, if while you're doing the exercises, if you're constantly checking if it's working, it's not going to work. You have to just let it be. And when you finally let go of the timetables and the pressures and of, I have to get it done like right now, I have to start feeling the results because, I'm just feeling so horrible, or, whatever that is. Once you get rid of that, then you're finally going to start being able, you're going to see results, and you're not even going to notice it at that point, because they're just going to start coming. And you got to take the focus off of that, because you need to be focusing on what's going on during the exercise. Either you're focusing on your breathing, focusing on the reading or the TV show, not focused on I have to master this, I have to master this, I have to master this, because that's not, you're not then doing the doing the exercises are pointless if that's what you're thinking about, because that's not, that may be the goal, but that's not how you're going to get to that goal. So that's a lot of the reason why people can't stay focused, is because they have all these expectations looming over them, and then they get discouraged when they're not meeting those expectations. It's a long process. It's difficult, and it takes people a while to to train their brains to think this way. So don't get discouraged. And everybody moves at a different pace. So what one person might, the pace that one person might move at, another person might either go faster or slower. But everyone is their own individual. So don't base it on everybody else. Just focus on yourself and do the exercises, and it'll come. I promise it'll come. You just have to let the exercises, and do the work, and not focus so much on I need to see the results right now. A lot of people say I already focus on the task at hand, and if you do that, that's amazing. You're one step ahead of all of us, because a lot of us can't focus on just one thing. We need to have like 2 or 3 things going on at once. So if you're already focusing on a task, then that's great. Just remember that when you're doing it, don't forget the acceptance part of mindfulness, and that is accepting whatever you're feeling at that moment and not casting judgment on it. So a lot of people who are already they believe that they're already practicing mindfulness. They are practicing it, but they're forgetting the acceptance part. So don't forget that whatever you're feeling at the moment, don't cast judgment on it, and just accept it for what it is, and then let it go, and then move on. I fall asleep. Well, that can be a good and a bad thing. Part of mindfulness is to help you relax, and reduce anxiety. But and if you're having problems sleeping, then it's great that it's helping you. And practicing it right before you go to bed is the perfect time to do it. But one of the key parts of mindfulness is awareness. And so when you're doing the exercises, take notice of when you start to drift off. If they're just really, really strong and it happens frequently, then there might need to be a few adjustments made, like in your life. Like, are you getting enough sleep at night? Because that might be one of the reasons why you're drifting off, and then the mindfulness isn't really effective. Practicing it at a different time of the day, maybe. It might be more effective if you practice it a little bit earlier in the day than at night, because if you're falling asleep, then you're not getting really the full benefit of it. Are you in a food coma? Did you just eat? Because that's another big culprit. Is if you do it like right after dinner, the food coma is setting in, and then, it's there, you're getting yourself relaxed, which is good, but, you're getting yourself too relaxed to the point where it's not effective. If you're lying down and you're practicing the exercises, maybe you could try just sitting up. That small little adjustment might help. Or if you're closing your eyes, maybe doing them with your eyes open. But if you're really having a lot of trouble, try focusing very intently on your breathing. But the breathing, if you focus really intently on it, you're bringing the focus to, as you're breathing in and out, you're bringing focus to the energy as it's entering your body and leaving your body. And so that focus might help in staying awake. Or you can, either if you're near a table, you can put pressure on your fingertips by pushing them on the table, or like the arms of the chair, or push, even just pushing the tips of your fingers together, and focus really hard on that sensation, like what that feels like. That might be enough to bring your attention back to, so you're not falling asleep. One of the last excuses, I have to multitask. That's me. That's one of my things. Like, I have to multitask. That's what I keep saying. But you don't. You really don't have to multitask. And there was actually a study done on multitasking, and they had 2 groups, and each group was given a list of things to get done. And one group did all of the items one thing at a time with their full attention, and then completed each one before they moved on to the next. And the other group was multitasking, trying to get all of the things accomplished. And at the end, the group that did only one thing at a time with their full attention, they completed their list of tasks quickly and more accurately than the group that was multitasking. It doesn't mean that we're expected to never multitask again, because of course we have to. There's no way we can't, but it would be ridiculous to think that. But we don't always have to multitask, and we can set aside some time for mindfulness. Even if it is just informal mindfulness, we can set aside, a few minutes here and there, and we can do it. Some of the activities that we already do, we can be practicing mindfulness, and we just didn't realize it. So I'm going to give you one more exercise, and then I've already loaded up the worksheets that I've discussed in the previous videos they're on the website, www.bipolarhotmess.com. And so you can go there, and below you just scroll down past all the videos, and at the bottom is where all the worksheets are, and you can print them out. And I also have up there the sheet here that has the exercises on it. I have the first 3 up there. So I'll load up a version that has with the exercise that I'm going to talk about today. I'll put that one up there too. So the other exercise that you can do, it's called Observing Your Thoughts in Clouds. They want you to pretend you're lying in a field of grass looking up at the clouds. In each cloud is a thought. Observe the thought as it slowly floats by and label it in terms of what kind of thought it is. For example, when the thought, am I going to be able to pay my credit card bill this month, floats by, label it worrying thought or anxiety thought. When you see the thought, this is a stupid exercise in a cloud, label it anger thought or judgmental thought, and so on, as best you can. Don't judge yourself for the thoughts you're having or how you're labeling them, because there's no right or wrong answer. When you notice you've gotten caught up thinking about a thought, simply let it go and notice the next thought. So as each thought goes by, accept it, feel it, accept it, but let another thought come through. And once you notice that you've gotten consumed with one thought and you're kind of stuck there and it's you're not going anywhere, but you're just now like ruminating, or you just keep thinking about that one thought, that's when you know that you've kind of gone astray, and you need to bring yourself back to focusing on letting each one thought by thought, and note what thought it was that that kept you wrapped up, because that's probably an issue that you need to work on. So anyway, so that is that's the DBT for today. Oh, I had one more thing. Hold on, let me see if I have my book. Hold on. 1 second. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I was unprepared. But the same publisher who published that book sent me a while ago the Cognitive Behavioral Workbook for Depression. And in here, it's a step-by-step program. There are tons of different worksheets and different it just goes and it talks a little bit, gives you some facts about depression, and there's some exercises and stuff too, kind of like how the DBT book. So I want to know, I am going to be reading and reviewing this book, like I do with all the ones that she sends me. But if this is something that you guys would be interested in me doing another like video series on, like YouTube videos like I did with the DBT, or a series of posts, written posts about, let me know. I mean, otherwise my typical review is like a standard review. I just write up a text, a couple paragraphs about it, and then I'll post it on my website. But if you guys actually want to go through this book too, kind of the same way I did the DBT, and even though it's just depression, and I know bipolar disorder, obviously depression is a key component of it. I mean, it's not all of it, but it's a key component. So this does have a lot of benefits to it for us. I mean, this can benefit in a lot of ways, even though it's just for depression. But let me know, either comment on this video, either on my Facebook page or on the YouTube page after the video, or send me a message, something. Just let me know, if you're interested in either some videos or some posts or whatnot on this book, because unless I get response and feedback from you guys about that, I'll just assume that you guys don't want it, and so I'll just do a couple paragraph summary and post it up there. But if you want something more in depth, please let me know, because I'm more than happy to do so. I don't want to do all these, videos and things like that if you guys aren't going to use them and don't want them, because I'd rather than spend my time on material that you guys do want. And my substance abuse posts and videos and all that are still coming along, so I'm working on that too. So I've got a lot of things going for you guys, and this is Mental Health Month, so there's lots of time, but there's lots of material and lots of things. So anyway, that's the end of this video. So I will see you next time, and don't forget to let me know about this. And if you want to email me, bipolarhotmess@gmail.com. All right, bye guys.